hand down lectures from above, we gather at the table to turn the edges of the mystery over together, looking for the truth in what we share. Let us see what the night reveals.
Every week, a real question arrives from our community. Someone shares a quiet doubt or a sudden wonder that we have all carried alone in the dark. Bring your perspective into the live exchange on YouTube and Facebook right now. Your comments and live questions drive the entire hour forward in real time.
Hello, everybody. I was going to say, welcome to the podcast, but that's not my line. I can't use that line. Welcome to Dear Universe, episode 6. Can you believe this is number 6?
No.
It's crazy. I am Kevin the Medium. This lovely lady beside me is
Angela from Awaken Your Soul's Journey.
inside joke.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounded funny when I would say, I'm Kevin the Medium, and she would say, I'm Angela. She had to get more. We have people saying hello already to us. How cool is that? We are coming to you live from Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park in the southwest corner. I can't speak today. The southwest corner of Saskatchewan. If you've ever been here, say so in the comments, because it is a little bit of heaven up here. It really is. We love it up here, do we not?
We do.
We do. What the heck are we going to talk about? First, before we do that, I want to give shout outs to the people who show up early and say hello. So Mr. John Doe, all the way from Aloha, Hawaii, he says, Aloha, Aihahi. I think that's how you say that. Can't wait for today's topic. We have Donna Jackson saying, good evening. We have Miss Nancy Jackson, no relation to Donna Jackson. We found that out last week, saying hello. April Trigg says, hello, everyone. And she says, beautiful area. I think she's talking about being here. Mm-hmm. Donna says she's been here. And Deanna. Isn't there a song about that? Deanna. I can't remember. She says hello all the way from Calgary, Alberta. We have a full house already, hon. So let's not waste time, because I have a feeling we are going to have a lot of chat on this topic today. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, because we had a lot of chat about it last night. So obviously
we could have stayed up to well past midnight. We didn't, but we could have, discussing. We kind of were like, oh, what are we going to talk about? We hadn't really decided. The week kind of got way on us. And so it was like, what are we going to talk about? So we, this topic came up in Dear Universe, the Facebook group. If you haven't joined that group yet, you need to join the group, people. That's where all these cool ideas come from. So it was a young lady from Lethbridge that came up with this question. How does coming from ego harm you and others? How do you recognize you are leading with too much ego? What are the reasons you feel like, maybe even without realizing it, that you have let the ego lead?
You got the wrong question up there on the screen. Not to point out, it doesn't say about ego. It says, why do we go to ask what?
Yeah, no, I got how does coming from ego on the screen. Isn't that weird that you're not seeing it?
I'm definitely seeing something completely different.
Well, isn't that weird? I'm going to hide it and I'm going to show it again, because literally I read it off the screen.
No. It's talking about soul contracts. That's weird.
Weird. Weird, 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 weird. I hope everybody else can see the ego question.
I'm wondering if people are hearing your voice on my mic. Like it's coming through twice. But it might be just because I can hear you back there.
That's probably what it is. I'll talk quieter. So I'm going to let you jump in with this question.
Let me jump in.
How does coming from ego harm you and others?
Well, I don't know.
First, before we get there, what is the ego? That's a better way to start.
Yeah, let's start with that. That's a little easier.
Yeah.
So there's a few ways it's defined, but for our purposes or for my purposes, maybe what I'll do is I'll define it my way and then you can define it your way because it's different. So for me, the ego is really your identity. And in the spiritual world, we are a soul in a human body. But often what happens is we identify ourselves with the roles that we play. So I am a mother. I am a teacher. I am a wife. I am a sister. I am a whatever. And when we do that, if we get threatened in some way around that identity, then we get our backs up in the air. And it's all about associating ourselves with that rather than realizing that that's really not who we are.
Yes.
Yeah. Now
Who
your
are
turn.
we?
Well, we really are true, authentic selves, which is really our spirit, our soul, our essence. So when we break down everything that we are in this human world, that's what we are. And that's what we're trying to uncover, which is kind of weird because why would we come to Earth to try to do that? It's all about experience and learning.
Right. Yes. What is ego? To me, ego is that part of you that's trying to protect yourself. Ego is that vain existence that we all have to some degree. Some of us have it more than others. And it is that, there's a good word. Right from my guides. It is a defense mechanism that we use on a regular basis. If someone challenges you, the easiest way to tell if you're reacting from ego is if you get really defensive and if they say, well, I'm not really sure that idea is the best idea, and automatically you feel it's an attack on yourself, that's your ego. That's where your ego comes from because it's trying to protect your feelings. Because all of a sudden you're like, that person hurt my feeling. I don't like it when my feelings hurt. So your ego comes out and you get very defensive. That's, I find, the easiest way to describe it. Does that make sense? Did I answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the ways that you can recognize if you're working from your ego is if you are constantly defending your identity. So when the ego's in charge, any challenge to your opinions or your status feels like a direct attack on your survival. Like it's a serious thing. So
Yes.
A sign that this is happening is you might find it impossible to admit that you're wrong, or that you feel like a tightening in your body or in your muscles when someone disagrees with you.
Yeah. Or even challenges you. It's that whole defense mechanism where you go, well, you can't challenge me. And then you're unwilling to see somebody else's point of view. If you get to that point where it's like, no, I'm right, doesn't matter, and you're not willing to listen, that's ego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, like a healthy sense of ego or self, like you don't care if someone says you're wrong because you just know inside who you are, and you don't feel the need to win an argument, um, because you know that that's just protecting some fragile image of yourself rather than coming from the actual truth. What
Yes.
is actual truth?
And a lot of times people get the wrong impression. It's just because you want to push your idea because you think your idea is correct. That's not necessarily your ego reacting. That's your that's just a human condition going, I think I have the best idea here. Like, this is my idea, and I think it's a very good idea. But when you're unwilling to listen to any other ideas, I think that's when you're leading with your ego.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yep, that makes sense. And the other thing is your self-worth is tied to that external validation. So when you're looking for other people to tell you how good you are or compliment you or recognize you, it's like it kind of thrives on comparison, right? It's like we have this competition that happens, and there's certain things that we feel are success marks, and we get praise for those things. And sometimes if we can get a significant drop in mood if someone else is getting recognized for something that maybe
Yes.
we feel we should be recognized for. And so that's another sign when you can't be, I wouldn't say when you can't be happy, but when you're feeling low because someone else is getting recognition.
When somebody else has the spotlight on them and you feel, well, why isn't the spotlight on me? That's definitely ego 100% of the time. And I don't believe, I could be proven wrong, but I don't believe there's any gray area in that one. It's if you're looking at somebody who's got a spotlight on them and you're like, well, we have a better podcast. Why are they getting 50,000 views? That's ego. We all have it, folks. We, pointing to myself as a we, have that. That's a natural human condition. Is ego always a bad thing, Angela?
No, I was just thinking about that right now because
I know you were.
Ego, like in that case, you feel like you could be a little jealous, jealous of someone else. That emotion of jealousy is coming up because of the ego. And so I think it was Mel Robbins I was listening to once, and she said that the way that you look at that is that I could be that person. That's something I could do. And you look at them as a role model for what you'd like to be or what you'd like to achieve. And when you know in your own heart that you could be that, then you don't feel jealous anymore. It's more of a, wow, that's something I aspire to be. That's somebody showing me what I might like to do or what I maybe should be doing.
And it's funny. When I remember when I first got into sales many, many years ago, I would always look at the top sales guy and go, what has he got that I don't? I'm just as good as he is. When things change for me, I stopped thinking, well, I'm just as good as he is. Well, obviously not. He's the top sales guy, and you're not. Then I started looking at every top sales guy saying, what is he doing that I'm not? That's when your ego turns from, I think you use the word being jealous, to, okay, I'm going to inspire to be the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to do to get there? What steps do I need to take? So I don't think ego is a bad thing in all circumstances. I think ego has its place in our life to drive us a little bit. I think without ego, we don't have that competitive world that we have. Competitive world, I think, is a good thing.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts. I was thinking when we see someone recognized, I think it's important to look at ourselves and give ourselves credit for the things that we are good at, that we
Yes.
can do, our own internal validation of who we are and, what our own gifts are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another way ego can, I think, harm us is when we're constantly having to protect the image that we're putting out. So if you're putting out the image of, I think you had said it, being the best mom or being the best podcast host or whatever that image is, when you're constantly you feel like you have to protect that,
Mm-hmm.
that's when ego can actually, on a spiritual level, cause issues for you. Because it can literally block that authentic vulnerability that you need. And it can actually block your intuition because now you're not listening to anything
Mm-hmm.
but your ego. Not
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I was thinking about is when we're living in narratives from the past or from the future, it's like living in stories. So this is what happened. This is what I hope to see happen. This is probably what will happen. You get those kind of stories made up in your mind. That too is ego. And it's constantly replaying. It's replaying what you expect it to. It's like justifying the current state. So sometimes we call this, that victim attitude. Well, I don't have XYZ, and I'll probably never have XYZ because XYZ. And you're telling yourself that and projecting that into future scenarios. It's like, yep, I knew it. I knew it. That's the way it was going to go, right? I think that too is partly an ego thing.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen. She knows what I'm doing here, folks. That is definitely an ego thing because ego doesn't always have to be about an idea, your personality. It could be about literally, I'm trying to be a nice person and it's not working. Why not? Where did that ego, what is that ego?
Yeah.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Our ego can be hurt because we're like, well, fuck. I'm a nice guy. Look what
Watch
I
your language.
did.
Nice guy.
Look what I did. And it's not working the way it's supposed to work. It didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen.
Mhm.
I didn't get recognized as the best salesman in the world. We didn't get recognized as the busiest podcast. We didn't get the most downloads, even though we are the best at it. That's
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
I guess the question now becomes, how do we recognize when we're in that situation that it is ego that's causing this emotion or this feeling or this emotion or feeling?
Yeah, well, I think the things that we talked about, but anytime that your feathers are getting ruffled, you're feeling a little bit like, I don't like this. Um, there's probably some kind of story that you're telling yourself about yourself that's underneath of all of that. And I think that the antidote to all of this is getting yourself back in the present moment and realizing what is right here, right now.
Yes. I'm just going to go into the chat for a little bit.
Mhm.
This is kind of promotion for you, but Angela's writing group has helped me discover and learn about who I am and to answer the question of who I am. That's when we say it, it's just like, yeah, okay, promote Angela. That's awesome. I love it. But that's not what Dee's saying. Is when we can figure out who we are, then we leave ego behind because we already know who we are. If we know without a fact who we are, ego doesn't matter. Ego doesn't come into play. Ego comes into play when we're not positive of who we are and we have to try to prove who we are. When we know who we are, doesn't.
Yeah.
There's one more I want to pull up here.
And we're content with who we are. And we recognize
Yes.
ourselves for the special being that we are already. We don't need that validation.
Our Hawaiian friend, Mr.
Mhm.
John Doe, all the way from Hawaii, in Conversations with God, Neil states that we are all one, that there is enough. Ours is not necessarily the best or only way, but just another way. I follow these concepts when dealing with my ego. Man, dude, if every single person on earth just read that and followed it, wow. We would have such a beautiful little community that we would live in. Because it's true. He literally spells it out. We can say goodbye now because that just sums it in one perfect little
That's
package.
it. We're done.
We're done. But doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's amazing. So Isla joined us late. So did Shelley. Shelley should recognize this question. April, I already said, KLM Kapeni says hi. They're from Turkey/Istanbul.
Ooh, nice. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where are you from, USA? No, we're from Saskatchewan, Canada.
Say that 3 times fast. Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan.
It's hard. April, I love this. Yes, I know who I am and I love who I am. I have lost a few, but they weren't obviously meant to be in my orbit, and that is totally okay. Man, when we can get to that point, their ego doesn't play a part in our lives, does it?
No, no. And I was just reading what Isla said about being in here in the now. The ego has no chance to continue the story.
Yes, totally true. And I don't know how many times I say this in a week, is right now it's August 24th at 7:25 p.m. where we are, and there is no 724. It doesn't exist. It's in the past. There is no 726. It's in the future. All that we have is a now. If we can stay in the now, whew, man, we're winning big time. What are the root causes of ego? Like, why does ego take the wheel?
Because I think we feel very separate from each other, and we feel like we need to be individual for whatever reason, and we need to have control of ourselves in that space. And we tend to view others as well, like I said before, like competition.
Yes.
And you might be sizing people up, wondering if they're above you or below you, or if they can help you achieve your goals. You might struggle with empathy for others. And this is all normal human behavior. We all do it. It's just, I think we forget that we are a part of something much, much bigger, and we're all connected. And so when I do things that are good for me and positive, and I help myself, I help everyone, because we are all connected in that way. So
Yes.
I think it's about feeling separate or feeling like you're alone.
And it's like the alone. It's that fear of invisibility. If I'm not special, or or in control, do I matter? That's when the ego takes the wheel and takes over, and it's just, and once it does, it's tough to take that wheel back at times, especially like you can after the fact. But when you're in the middle of a conversation, I was going to say a confrontation, my guides changed it to a conversation, and the ego is taking the wheel, it's really, really, really hard to grab that wheel back, because all of a sudden you have to tell yourself those words nobody wants to hear. You're wrong. You need to tell yourself you're wrong for not listening. You're wrong for thinking you're more important than anybody else in this room. It's tough. But we've all been there.
Yeah, and I think when we quiet the ego, we get an opportunity then to connect with our fellow humans, to connect with spirits in other realms, to connect with our own, I guess, with our own struggles, and to help find information that will help us lead us through it. So I think if we're not feeling so separate, we allow ourselves to feel more connected to others. And we are beings that need connection.
It's funny because every time you say that, I think of that show we've been watching called Alone. And anybody that has watched it would understand why I think that. The basis of the show, to kind of give it a nutshell, they take 10 people and they drop them in very secluded areas all over the world. This time, I think they're in the Arctic Circle. They're somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where, but they're by themselves. They have to they film themselves. There's no other humans around. They get a medical check every couple of days, I think, or every week at the beginning, and it becomes more as the show goes on. And you can tap out when you get to a point. And the idea of the show is whoever lasts longest wins. But inevitably, it's the human ego that takes people out of the game because they get inside their own head. And
Yeah.
it's
And it's
that,
that lack of human connection that they
yes,
really crave. Um, they really miss, their loved ones, and it it gets it gets it's interesting. It's an interesting show.
it is very, it's when, if you love human interaction and you love seeing humans interacting with themselves in a bear, it's like down to the, you strip yourself down to your bare core because you got nothing else to think. All you got is what's inside your head.
Mhm.
That's all you got. It's tough. Um, if someone was to ask you, okay, that's great. Now I know what ego is. How do I stop from letting ego take control? What steps can I do to control, not, I guess, control your ego? I guess that's a one way of saying it. It's probably the wrong way, probably the wrong verbiage, but I think you get my idea.
Mhm. Well, I think first of all, you just need to recognize that it is your ego. And then what we mentioned earlier was about getting into the present moment and really recognizing where you are right now, what you're feeling right now, and dealing with that right now. And I think, when you start to recognize the ego coming up and you recognize those patterns, you can disengage from them easier. It's when they
Yes.
catch us off guard and we're like, it's too late. Like by the time we realize what's happening, we've already done whatever damage is going to be
Or
done.
we've said the words and then you're like, ah, shit, I should have
Yeah,
thought
it's
for
too
about
late
30
now. Yeah.
seconds before talking. Um, I have found now, as I get later in life, like I say, taking that pause. If you feel yourself triggered, you take that pause and you go, what's triggering me? What did he or she say that is triggering me? Or what in this situation, it doesn't always have to be words that could trigger you. In this situation, if I've walked into a room and I feel right away I need to be defensive of who I am, my ego has to stick my chest out and be bravado. What is it about this situation that I need to learn something from? What is my soul trying to tell me? What is my guides? Is there a message or is there a lesson I'm supposed to be learning from the experience I'm actually having at this moment?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that the most important thing in that is when you're asking that question, you do it like you would to a good friend. Like you don't criticize yourself so hard
Yes.
about falling into the trap or the pattern that has been repeating. It's more like putting your arm around your best friend and saying, okay, I see what happened here. Um, let's see what we can think up to help us in another circumstance. And what
Yes.
is it at the root of this? Like, because normally it's just feeling inadequate or unworthy or something that you associate. I was talking about the football players or the hockey players when their careers ended and they've identified themselves with that for their whole time. And then all of a sudden, there they are left to figure it out and they don't have another backup. I feel like grief sets in is what happens because you're losing a part of yourself or you recognize that you're not that. And I think, going in and having some compassion for that person who has held on to that idea and not getting upset, but actually giving them compassion and encouragement to pursue the next step or take, a healthy step in the right direction.
Well, that's what April Trigg says, is that self-acceptance. And that's a big one, is once we can get to that point of accepting who we are and not what we are. That's a big difference. And you brought that up last night when we were chatting about this. You had said I was a principal. I was a leader in my community and my community member. And I was a wife. And in one swoop, that was all gone for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now you had to reinvent yourself. Does ego come into play when you do that? Is there a part of that? Like, does ego, is it a common place for ego to take over?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because you're well, what it does is it forces you to figure out who you truly are underneath all of that, because you suddenly realize that you aren't those things. They can be taken from you at any time. So that's not you. What is you? What at the core cannot be taken away? That is you.
Yes. I keep using the example. We're podcasters. That's what we do a lot of. We're podcasters. That can be taken away from us tomorrow because the internet can go down and we could have no more Facebook and no more connection electronically. That can be taken away from us. So we're not, that's shouldn't be who you describe yourself as. When somebody asks you, who are you? Oh, I'm a medium. That could be taken away.
Mm.
I've seen it happen. I've seen a very, very powerful healer have everything taken away because of ego.
Yeah, and it's not even, it's not even something that we can judge as bad. It's just you realize it's a way that the universe helps you realize who you truly are underneath all of that. It's like shedding all of that. I think it was Matthew McConaughey said, what am I? I'm not the actor, I'm not the big brother, I'm not all the things. What am I at my core? And his book is good, by the way, if anybody wants to.
Yes.
If you're looking for a book.
What's the name of his book again?
It's called Green Light.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good book.
It is a good book. We listened to it. This is a great one, Shelley. And we can say Shelley's the one who put this question into Dear Universe.
We were taking stabs at it in the
yeah
on the page.
But she says the way she does it is she asks the universe to help keep my ego above 1% but below 3%, so I may be clear and neutral. Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Angela. I want to keep delving down this path with you because you say you have to dig down, and I think that's the word you use to find out who you really are. And you said something last night that actually kept me awake last night thinking about it. It literally, my brain, you know how my brain works at night, because I didn't turn this on right away. When I say this, I listen to old time radio shows to fall asleep. But I was just sitting in the silence, and the brain wouldn't shut up, and it kept going back to, who are we? What, in actuality, I mean, we can label ourselves as all kinds of things. I'm a retiree. I'm a medium. I teach people to connect, to channel. Those are all labels. So when you talk about that, what really, when we come down to the core of cores, what are we? You said it last night. We're
really a soul in a human body. We're a soul. Yes. We're spirit. So, and I mean, this gets difficult because we are a soul in a human body, and we are in this 3D world. And so
Yes.
we have to experience these things. It's not like we can just erase everything and say, okay, I'm a spirit, I'm good. It's not, it doesn't really work like that, because
Wouldn't it be easier though? Once we actually, and if we could actually really trust and believe and just go, I know I'm male, I know you're female, I know I'm a soul. That's it.
Mhm.
We just go through life, the rest of the life going, yep, what would we do? We wouldn't, it would be like, holy crap.
Yeah, no, it's a little more complicated than that. But really, in the end, we're just figuring out how special we really are and how connected we are to everyone else, and that there's nobody that can take away that true essence, or that soul. Nobody can take that away from you. Even they can try, but nobody can touch that. And so you're always safe. And I think that's why, coming back to the present moment and realizing, all of these things, helps you take that next step in the right direction. It's really looking at yourself as a spirit or a soul, your essence, and what you truly desire.
Yes. And
Ooh, that brings me to the other question.
going on who we are literally a soul inside a flesh sack. Then we go to, what is our soul? My soul is my soul. It's how can my soul be connected to Angela's soul, or to Shelley's soul, or to Armana's soul, or to April's soul, or to whoever's soul? We have to go back to the concept, which really is starting to make way more sense in my brain as I grow down this path. Thank you to Angela. Is we're all a spark of the creator, of the divine. So if we're all just a little spark, like, I don't know if you guys can see our background, and you can see all those little sparks in the background of our set tonight. Those are our souls. There's millions, there's trillions of them out there. So if we're all just sparks of the divine, that means we're all the same.
Mm.
We're identical. We're all one. We all started at the source. That's why we call it the source.
Mm-hmm. And yet we're all individual as sparks, but we are all from one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are all one. And if we can remember that concept going through our daily lives, man, that changes everything. Because now I want you to succeed.
Right.
I want more of us doing what I do. I remember, folks, I'll be honest with you. I remember when I first got into this, weeks after I started my own company and started charging people, I had done a group reading on Facebook. No, on Zoom. Had people, it was just like a group reading. And there was it was more of a discussion, and a lot of people were just discussing things. It ended, I was higher than a kite, just natural high. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And then I found out one of my clients, there was another practitioner within that. One of my clients went and did a session with her. Well, my ego went on overdrive. I actually messaged this other practitioner, and I got mad. I actually did. I messaged her and was like, how dare you? This is the words I used. I could go back and I could look it up. You stole my client. Wow. 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 I look back now and I'm like, what a jerk. I was going to come up with another word. But that was the old Kevin. That was that competitive, ego-driven Kevin. Come fast forward 6 years. I want more people to do what I do. I want my clients to go to other practitioners. It's healthy. Totally different, because I know we're all one I know that for a fact that we're all one.
Mhm.
So I went on a tirade there, but I had to get that out.
Yeah. Well, and I was on that. I'll go back to what we were talking about, like finding out who you are at your essence, but then what you want or what you desire in this world. That's part of finding out who you are, what you really love to do, what your passion is. And there was a question from one of our group that asked um, if if your ego talking was her wanting to meet more awakened people.
Oh, yes.
And so as she's awakening and she's understanding more about herself and her own spirit, she wants to connect with more people like her. And sometimes I think a lot of people find themselves in that space where they want to find out more, but they're in that transition space where they haven't met their tribe or their people. And I think that's how she's feeling, but she is worried that her ego. And I'm thinking that is more your soul's desire than it
Yeah.
is an ego.
100%. It is your literal soul seeking like-minded souls,
Mhm.
souls that think this or feel the same way this soul felt. Totally, I think that would be the total opposite of ego.
Yeah. Because when you see others and you connect with others that are of like mind, you are finding out more about yourself through them. It's like a mirror that you can see yourself in, and they help you grow. So no, it's not ego.
Yeah, no, I agree. Here, I love Mr. Hawaii. You read this one.
Yes, I am my soul incarnated. Would be a great follow up to soul plans or contracts reincarnation. Ego keeps us from completing our plan, which is ultimately to love one another. Very cool. Yes.
Yes. 100,000,000%. We just did a reading for a dear relative of Angela's this morning, and it's that we can't comprehend what love is on the other side. It's not. The human brain can't comprehend it. But when I ask a soul who has crossed, what do you want? Just love. Just be happy. Just be. And I'm like, wow, of all the things, like you could have told me to buy this stock and become really, really rich. You could have told me to buy this land because it's going to turn into something huge. But no, the biggest piece of advice that you can give us is just be happy. Wow, that's powerful.
Mhm. It's all about chasing your joy. Sarah Landon and Mike Dooley, yeah, Mike Dooley,
Yeah.
they did a book together. Can't remember the name of it, but the whole thing was her channeling different beings, and every message, at the root of every message, was we are here on this earth to chase our joy, really find our joy. That's what we're here for.
So, so important in life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I made all kinds of notes that I'm just going through to make sure. Yeah, that's one we should touch on more, is that when we find ourselves in a situation where we're like, oh God, my ego's taken over, what's the best thing you can do?
Well, I think just recognizing it in the moment And then I would be trying to remove myself from that situation so I could get into a place where I can have some time to
Yes.
just sit with myself before doing anything else. I mean, you can always go to the bathroom, right? Like, I always think that it's a way
E-
out.
Ego will demand an instant response. That's
Mhm.
ego. And we talked about it where we're like, "Ah, oh
Yeah.
shit. I should have taken a deep breath. Oops. Um, and it's as simple as taking like 3 long, deep breaths before you respond to somebody. It's like, that's a good question. Or that's a novel idea.
Or give me some time. Let me think about that for a bit. Because really, unless it's an emergency and there's blood and bones, you don't have to hurry to
No.
respond to that stuff.
And if it's blood and bones, it has nothing to do with ego. Just saying. Uh, your guides are like, I don't know where she got that. She just said it. She didn't take a pause, Kevin. She didn't pause and take a deep breath.
There was no ego there.
Oh, that's funny. But it's that pause and think, what's really going on here? Is this my ego? Or is this something else?
Mhm.
And you'll know right away. And just by taking that pause, a lot of times it'll defuse a confrontation that was about to happen. That person now thinks, oh, he's really thinking. I gave him an idea and he's really thinking about it. How cool is that? Everybody wants to that. Not a
Yeah.
bad thing.
No.
And then think, what can I learn from this? What is the universe? What is my guides? What is my soul? Either and or trying to teach me.
Right. Yeah.
There's something in this experience. Notice, folks, I'm changing my vocabulary lately. I used to always say lesson. This is a lesson. Everything's a lesson in life. Now I'm changing that to everything's an experience. You can thank Angela for that one because everything's an experience now. So what is this experience trying to teach me? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what, Ange? I want to sleep on that idea. I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Mhm.
That
Yeah. Yeah.
if there is something wrong with that, that's on that person over there, not on you. If that person, no, I need an answer right now. That's their ego,
Yeah.
right? You be like Angela. Sorry, I have to go pee. Gotta take a poo. See you later. There's always an excuse how you can remove yourself from it. I'm laughing so hard because my guides are like, that's not what we said to say. We did not say use the word pee or poo. We didn't say that. Oh my goodness.
Well, I did come up with three, well, in my research, I came up with three reflective questions that you can ask yourself when you're feeling triggered.
Yes.
One is, am I trying to be right or am I trying to be effective or kind?
Ooh.
One is, what am I afraid will happen if I let go of this position?
Ooh.
Because often it is fear.
Yes.
And is this reaction coming from my core values or is it coming from a need to protect my image, which is your identity?
Seeing two things there, your image, you said, and what was the second question you said to ask yourself?
What am I afraid will happen if I let go of this position?
Will I matter? Do I
Mm,
become do I become less, period?
mhm,
If the answer to them is yes, you know your ego has a steering wheel.
mhm.
Simple. Um, we're going to have all kinds of people tomorrow at work, and they're going to be asked a question. They'll be like, I got to go pee. Give me a sec. No, I just asked you how your evening was. I can't answer that. I got all kinds of questions I need to ask myself before I answer anything from now on.
Now everybody knows my secret.
That's not, I know. Next time you say, I'm going to go to the bathroom, I'm following you. We're not done. You come back here. Now, here's a great comment that again, in my research, the ultimate goal isn't to kill your ego, which is impossible while we are having a human experience. We'll always have an ego, but it's to demote it. We take it out of the driver's seat. It's now in the passenger seat, and we stop letting our ego make executive decisions.
Mm-hmm.
When I say a passenger seat, it has to be the quiet passenger like I am when I'm in a car.
Oh.
Quiet, calm, cool, and collected. That's me in the passenger seat, folks.
No.
Don't listen to her. I can mute you.
Put it right in the back.
Put it in the trunk. But that's a great, when you think of it, we will always have ego because that's part of what a human is. It's part of being in the human, having the human existence is having that ego because it drives us. Ego drives us. I talked about that earlier. And without that drive, our society pretty much falls apart. So we need that ego, but we can't have it driving the ship. It's got to be the backseat driver where we can hear it, but we get to make the decisions. We get to decide when to put the brake on. We get to decide when to turn the signal on and which lane to be in, not the ego in the passenger seat.
Yeah. And I think the way we do that is to constantly pull ourselves back into the present moment. Go to the bathroom, whatever. You're constantly pulling yourself back into that moment and realizing who you are at your core so that you can make that good decision going forward.
Yes.
Without the ego.
Folks, we're coming up to the top of the hour. It was funny because when we first decided this was going to be the discussion, and we went back and forth whether we wanted to use this because it can be tricky. It can be a tricky conversation to have. But with your guys' help, I think it went really well. I love the way we've become this interactive podcast where we're not just lecturing, but it's truly interactive. And that's the idea. That was the idea of the show.
And there's a lot of wisdom out there. You know, like you
God.
see the comments and it's like, wow.
When I designed that opening monologue of our show and I said this is not a lecture, I really meant that because it's important that's not what we wanted to produce through being when we first decided to do Dear Universe. We wanted this interactive audience participation show, which is what we're getting. It's just so cool. I love it. And we're going to continue it. But before we continue it next week, we have no idea. Again, we have no idea what the conversation will be next week. But I do know tomorrow night at 7 p.m. our time, whatever time that is in your time frame, I am bringing back my show, my podcast. Told you we love to podcast. It's called Tuning into Truth. It's where I get to talk and interview other practitioners and get their story and find out how they got to where they are. This new show, this new episode, I'm bringing back starting tomorrow. I have the super tourist, the greatest, the best guest I've ever had on the show ever. It's this lady sitting next to me. She is going to be my guest tomorrow. I get to ask the questions. She gets to answer the questions, and it's going to be live. Folks, I didn't give her the questions. She won't know what I'm going to ask her. It's going to be a fun, engaging hour. And you're going to learn a lot of what Angela went through to make her who's this lady that you see in front of you, this strong, independent, confident lady who wasn't always that way. I know that for a fact. I've heard stories. Tune in tomorrow night, same bad channels, same bat time, 7 p.m. If you want to get a hold of Angela to find out more about her services, the easiest way to do that is go to her website, healingenergy.world. If you want to learn more about me, go to Kevin the Medium on any social media. You will find me there. Any last words there, my love?
I think about what you want to do in life that makes you happy and take one step in that direction. Even if you think it's impossible, take one step in that direction and see where that takes you. Chase your joy.
I'm going to end it on that. And yes, John, it will be on YouTube. It will be on every channel that you're watching right now. That's what it's going to be on: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
And people can watch the recording, right?
Yes. If you're not around at 7 p.m. tomorrow, it'll be up on YouTube, on Facebook, till they take it down. YouTube, they never take it down.
I don't want a what do you call it? Not a sequel, but a something. I interviewed Kevin, and he's on my podcast. So that aired today. So if you want to take a peek at Awaken Your Soul's Journey podcast, you will see Kevin this week, episode 131.
Woo.
I ask him some hard questions and make him squirm.
She really, what is it called?
Awaken Your
what called?
The podcast.
Oh, what is your podcast called?
It's Awaken Your Soul's Journey.
My podcast is called Tuning Into Truth. This podcast is called Dear Universe. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Till tomorrow night, next week, whenever we see you, take care of yourself. Get your questions in. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, send it to us. That's where we get our questions, folks. Take care.